In this video, I want to compare some aspects of ankle anatomy in American marsupials, such as this Didelphis pictured here, and australidelphian marsupials, such as this Dasyurus here. Now, this is almost completely synonymous with marsupials that live in Australia and New Guinea and other parts east of Wallace's Line versus those in the Americas, with one exception. There's one American marsupial, Dromaeosaurus glairoides, that lives in South America but shares the anatomy that I'm going to show you here with an Australian marsupial such as Dasyurus. So what we're looking at now is the ankle region of a right foot in the case of Didelphis, an American marsupial, and here I've segmented out the calcaneus from that same foot, and the same region, but on the other side. This is a left foot of a Dasyurus, and here's the calcaneum and some adjacent tarsal elements segmented out. And the key difference is this continuous lower ankle joint pattern that exists in australidelphian marsupials such as Dasyurus. And what I mean by that is that this facet here on the lateral aspect of the Dasyurus calcaneus, this is called the calcaneoastragalar facet, and it's adjacent to a facet called the sustentacular facet here. And notice that ankle joint articular surface is continuous, the continuous lower ankle joint pattern, right? That's what you're looking at there. Now, in the didelphid marsupial, in Didelphis, what you're looking at here, it's the opposite side, so that the lateral part of the calcaneus is here, and that's a structure called the perineal process, which is it's not really present of Dasyurus over here, but it's quite large in Didelphis. But really the anatomy that I'm talking about is this relationship between the calcaneoastragalar facet in the middle and the sustentacular facet on the side. And you can sort of make out, well, I hope it's quite obvious, there's a groove in between those two structures. This is what's known as the separate lower ankle joint pattern in American marsupials, excluding Dromaeosaurus, and this is what's known as the continuous lower ankle joint pattern in australidelphian marsupials, including Dromaeosaurus. And just to give you an idea of the anatomy of the whole foot and the bits that I've segmented out, that's the calcaneus, right? That's the same element I've segmented out here in Dasyurus. And you can see that here's the fibula that would articulate along the lateral margin of the calcaneus, and then the astragalus would sit roughly in this region, and on top of the astragalus you have the tibia located here. The tibia doesn't happen to be present in this CT scan of Didelphis ankle, but here you can see the astragalus. That's the calcaneus, which I've segmented out and zoomed in on here on this CT scan. It's the same element of the same specimen. I've just segmented it out in a different file. And then you can see the more distal elements of the foot. So here's the cuboid. That's the navicular, at least what zoologists call the navicular. There's some difference in terminology in some of the veterinary traditions. And then you have the metatarsals, the cuneiforms,